With Ubisoft's recent announcement going over the pricing on the upcoming game Star Wars Outlaws, I wanted to talk about my thoughts on how AAA gaming is just getting more and more out of control. A while back, Ubisoft released all the editions of Star Wars Outlaws and their associated prices. It's pretty common for there to be several editions of a game now, especially for AAA games. However, the issue with this recent announcement is what you're getting per edition of the game. Let's start with the absolute cheapest option you can go with to at least own the game. The fact I even have to explain the extra detail is absurd to me, but we'll get to that in a bit. For $70, you get the base game and a couple of cosmetic items. Pretty standard stuff for a pre-order. Honestly, for a $70 pre-order, I'd hope to get some coming to early access. However, that's simply just not included in this bundle. For the next edition, for $110, you get the game, the same cosmetic items, 3 days early access, and the season pass to a single player game. Now, if this season pass is limited to just giving you future DLC expansions, then I understand. However, this is Ubisoft we're talking about here. It's not going to be just that. Also, apparently there's a mission that is exclusive to season pass holders, so in order to even be able to play every mission in the game, you'll have to spend at least $110 if you want to own the game at launch. So $70 doesn't even buy you the full game anymore. Instead, it buys you the most bare bones version of the game that's probably had a ton of content gutted out of it for the sake of calling it future DLC and forcing players to spend even more money. And I haven't even gone through all the editions yet. We still have 2 more to go through. For the highest tier edition you can own, you'll have to spend $130 for everything in the other 2 tiers, as well as some more cosmetic items and a digital art book. Or if you don't feel like dishing out $130 for the complete game, Ubisoft decided to toss us a bone and allow us to essentially rent the game for $18 a month using their wannabe Xbox Game Pass subscription service called Ubisoft Plus. I've been around in the gaming space for a long time and have seen several big AAA companies do stuff like this for a long time. However, this is probably one of the worst ones I've seen in a very long time. The fact that you don't even get the full game unless you spend $110 to own the game or $18 a month to rent it is just absolutely mind-blowing to me. How is it that AAA games and studios, which are supposed to be some of the absolute best of the best, are constantly getting outperformed by smaller teams and studios? How is it that one guy who came from developing stuff on Roblox was able to take the gaming space by storm with Lethal Company? Meanwhile, Ubisoft is working on making the next quadruple A game known as Skull and Bones. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Ubisoft used to be one of the more respected studios back in like the early 2000s? I don't think it's a lack of ideas or a lack of passion. Instead, I think it's more so an obsession for money and maximizing profits at the expense of making a good and consumer-friendly product. How is it that a studio like Larian, which are probably best known for being the people who made Baldur's Gate 3, is one of the only bigger studios that has realized that if you make a good game, then you'll eventually make money on it? The overall state of AAA gaming has just gotten to a point that it's just pathetic to see what was once considered the best of the best are now becoming some of the worst of the worst. Obviously, there's exceptions, and not all AAA studios are like this. However, it's just become more and more of a problem as time goes on. Typically, I try to look at both the good and bad in these types of situations. However, I really just don't see a good side to it in this case. I personally was pretty excited about Star Wars Outlaws, but after seeing that $70 won't even give me access to the full game, I'll just wait to buy the game when it goes on a pretty big discount. At the end of the day, spend your money how you want to. However, I'd strongly recommend not buying Star Wars Outlaws at launch or even for its full price if this is the route they're wanting to take. Talking about it alone won't fix the problem when it comes to these massive AAA studios. Instead, showing them that you don't support this practice by not purchasing it at full price will, hopefully, open their eyes and this trend won't continue. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are in the situation. Do you agree with what I said, or do you feel differently on the situation? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and if you like anything and everything about gaming, make sure to subscribe so that way you never miss a video.